All right, bring yourself back to the early 2000s when the internet was just a little baby, maybe a toddler, I guess, at the time. And this company comes out, Salesforce, and says, look, there's a need between businesses and customers online that we can provide. And so they do that. And even though there are some crises in the meantime, they actually grow a lot, acquiring over 72 companies or around 72 companies, growing to 70,000 employees from the initial, I believe, 100 or something, and just skyrocketing into some of the bigger companies of the world. However, this couldn't last forever. There were difficulties that the company has had, especially over the ending of coronavirus and during coronavirus, and they needed some help. And so help did swoop in the form of activist investors. These investors are basically people who are looking to find a company with lower value stock, get into there, buy the majority of that stock, and then increase that stock to be sold later, which I guess works, but it does seem like a very short term. And I don't know if I would ever want to invest in a company that had an activist investor, because I knew they would just probably sell in the end.
Well, yes, it's very much about
again.
Quick profit.
Yeah.
It's nothing, they don't really care so much about the human element, you know.
Yeah. Which is actually the problem with Salesforce, because they don't care about the human element, they care about the profit. So there's been a lot of pressure to like cut the sale or cut the teams, to cut costs, to just trim the fat and even some of the muscle everywhere, so that they can get as much out of this investment as possible. Also, unprecedentedly, there are 4 of these investors rather than the usual 1. So they're kind of teaming up and putting, I guess, 4 times extra pressure on the company. As of this article, or nearby this article, up to 10% of the workers have been fired. If you compare that to other companies, for example, I don't know, what is it, Twitch, and another company recently that cut a lot of its workers. Facebook, thank you. Yeah. I was like, we did an article on this. That's not nearly, it's a very small amount, 10%. However, things are expected to get a lot worse, to accelerate into a downward spiral, hopefully to the benefit of the activist investors, but then unfortunately to the detriment of everyone else, including maybe Salesforce users. What is your company culture like?
I will tell you the things I like about our company culture. I think the teachers actually have a pretty high amount of autonomy. The way the things are structured, yes, we do get monitored and we get assessed, but it's quite hands-off, I think, from the management. Compared to many other teachers I know who work for different other companies, there's a lot more sort of micromanagement and heavy scrutiny constantly of what the teachers are doing on a daily basis, which I think I would find really annoying. So I like the trust that management and teacher has between one another. They're not too micromanagey with their style. So I think that's a great part of our company culture.
Yeah, I gotta ditto that, because I was thinking about this question and the first thing that came to mind was independence. Having the independence to teach in a lot of different ways. To a certain extent, of course, you have to be a good teacher, but if you are teaching well, you have a lot of independence in that teaching.
Yes, I guess if they're not going to be quite so hands-off if you're getting a lot of complaints or there's problems in your classes. But I suppose another one is variety. Thankfully, I don't have to keep teaching the same things over and over and over again. I get a variety of different levels, different books. I do my own book discussion. I'm now doing some filming. So I get a variety of tasks.
Yeah. How do companies change after going public? Any pros and cons?
I guess your public image matters a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Because any rumors about maybe there's a problem at your company, the stock price is going to plummet, even if perhaps there isn't a problem with the company. So I suppose rumors suddenly become a really big deal.
Yeah. That's a big one. I think what you're saying is right on the money is the stock price is now the #1 indicator of your company rather than the product. rather than the service you provide. It just doesn't matter. What matters most is that feel like this is the case. It seems like it. What matters most is the stock price. And the investors and the people who are on the board of directors or however involved, if they have a vote or not, they're only looking at the profit, which means your company must be profitable in the short term. And you can no longer focus too much on the long term.
Well, yeah, the termage, because surely, like, even private businesses, they are kind of focused on profit as well. Yeah. Let's not pretend private business is charitable in any way. But, maybe they can play a bigger game than the everyday stock market.
And they can make profound decisions easily because they know that it's good for the business. Whereas if they do it in a public offering or after going public, they have to go through the board and be like, oh, please, just can we do this? We know it's going to be good. Yeah.
Shorter decision-making chain, I imagine.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of businesses going public if they're already doing well, but I understand why they do. Yeah. Anyways. Well, we are done scrutinizing businesses and even our own. It is now time for you guys to scrutinize the vocabulary and figure out which ones would be best used in your daily life. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Swarm.
Swarm.
Accelerate.
Accelerate.
Scrutinize.
Scrutinize.
At all costs.
At all costs.
Common ground.
Common ground.